Golden sun upon the sea, golden sun is over me. Ukulele melody, drifting on a gentle breeze. Let the worries fall away on this slow.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Uncle Sully and Richie joining you for another video. This one's shifting gears a little bit. It's not really about food. It's about creatine, which I take, that you can see is making me youthful. Okay, maybe not so much, but it does make me feel better. I feel a little bit stronger, and I feel like a little bit sharper when I started taking it. And it's got other health benefits. So let's see what this video has to say. I do take it. I don't want to talk. I would show you brands that I take, but I'm not sure about that. Whether I can talk about brands without, I don't know whether, okay, I don't know how it works on YouTube. They already popped a couple of my videos for copyright stuff, because I was showing stuff on YouTube about making milk and eggs, and they got a little upset, took my thing down. But yeah, it's something that I definitely take. I don't take very many supplements, but I definitely take that on a regular basis. I don't take it all the time. I always think too much is. It's always good to do. Some stuff's okay to do, but don't do it like constantly. Let your body recover. I don't know if that's correct or not. It's just the way I do things. Don't listen to me. I have no idea what I'm talking about. So anyway, listen to this, because this comes from the interwebs. I use Notebook LM. I go to AI, type in, hey, research, whatever, and it comes up with a bunch of stuff, different web pages, YouTube videos, wiki, this, government places, I guess, everything, all kinds of different places where they have all this information on the internets, and comes up with a summary, and it makes me a cool little slideshowy type of video-y thing. And we're going to indulge ourselves into this. And so let's have fun.
Welcome to today's Explain. We're tackling a topic today that has generated, honestly, an enormous amount of buzz and just as much confusion. We're going to separate the fitness hype from the cold, hard clinical data when it comes to healthy aging. And the star of the show today? Creatine. If you think you already know what the supplement is all about, stick around, because the recent scientific literature might just flip your entire perspective upside down. Let's get right into it. For decades, creatine monohydrate has been totally pigeonholed. You know the stereotype, right? It's seen almost exclusively as this powdery stuff that 20-something bodybuilders are just chugging in the gym locker room to bulk up. But over the last several years, clinical researchers started asking a radically different question. What if this compound isn't just for adding inches to your biceps? What if it's actually a vital tool for maintaining our independence as we get older? Well, that's exactly what we're looking at today, straight from the data. So here's our roadmap. First, we'll look beyond the bodybuilder. Second, we'll dive into the muscle and strength data. Third, the reality of bone health. Fourth, safety and side effects. And finally, the ultimate verdict for aging. All right, let's jump into part 1, beyond the bodybuilder and fighting sarcopenia. To understand why researchers are even looking at creatine for an older demographic in the first place.
Sarcopenia, is that another malady I didn't realize I had? My God, I've had heart surgery, I've had bladder surgery, I've had eye surgery, I've had stents put in me. I even had toe surgery when I was a kid because I had a screwed up toe. I can imagine this is one more thing I got to put on the list. It's getting long. List of maladies. Anyway.
Need to understand the physiological villain we're up against, and that villain is sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is the age-related loss of muscle mass, strength, and overall physical performance. And look, this isn't just about not looking quite as toned as you did back in your 30s. No, this is a progressive condition that directly threatens your independence. It dictates whether you can carry your own groceries, or comfortably walk up a flight of stairs, or even catch yourself if you happen to trip. The stakes here are literally life-altering, and the medical community has been desperately searching for ways to combat this decline. Enter creatine. But maybe not in the magical muscle-sprouting way the fitness industry sometimes claims. Creatine actually works by elevating your intermuscular phosphocreatine, or PCR. reserves. In plain English, it essentially acts as a backup battery pack for your cells. It buffers the rapid turnover of ATP energy, which basically fights off fatigue while you're doing repeated muscular work. So the big takeaway here is that creatine doesn't just spontaneously build muscle while you're sitting on the couch watching TV. What it does is give older adults the sustained energy to actually handle the exercise stimulus needed to preserve their physical function. It gives you the fuel to do the physical work that protects your mobility. Moving right along to part 2, the muscle and strength data, and looking at measurable gains. So, if creatine provides the energy to work harder, does that actually translate into meaningful measure?
This is kind of a thing with this Notebook LM. They'll show you statistics on a page like that. It's too small to read. I've seen this is about the third one that I said, look at this, and look at this data, and it was like micro text. So anyway, welcome to the age of AI.
For older folks. To answer that, we can look at a major meta-analysis by DeFries and Phillips, which looks specifically at older adults doing resistance exercise. If you look at the clinical trials mapped out here, notice how overwhelmingly those data points sit on the right side of the center line.
Right? I mean, you can't argue with that data you can see right there. You can't see.
Favors the creatine group over the placebo group for increasing lean tissue mass. The literature is super consistent here. Combine creatine with resistance training, and you see significantly greater improvements in muscle mass than if you just did the resistance training all by itself. And we actually have a specific concrete number from that meta-analysis, 1.37 kilograms. That is roughly 3 pounds. That's the average additional lean tissue mass that older adults gained when taking creatine, compared to those who just took a placebo while doing the exact same workout program. Now, 3 pounds might not sound like a ton at first, but for an older adult actively fighting the muscle wasting effects of sarcopenia, gaining an extra 3 pounds of functional lean tissue, that is a massive, highly significant clinical victory. But hey, we don't just care about numbers on a laboratory scale, right? We care about what those numbers mean for everyday life. And the data shows this extra lean mass translates to greater chest and leg press strength, but even more importantly, it leads to better chair rise capability. Literally, your ability to stand up from a seated position without needing someone to...
I'm that old, where I've been so bad and out of shape that I had trouble getting off a chair or the toilet. And I also had cancer surgery a few years ago. Boy, I was weak after the cancer surgery. And it was like, it took both of your arms to push yourself up. Like, oh, thank God I'm not there now. But when you get older, you have to work at not getting there. Your default position is, I can't get up. I'm falling and I'm sitting here watching TV and I can't get up. That will happen to all of you. I guarantee it.
Translates to faster walking speeds. These absolutely are not vanity metrics. These are the fundamental indicators of your autonomy. This is the physical strength required to live life on your own terms. Which brings us to part 3, the bone health reality and the muscle-bone connection. Because muscle and bone are so deeply interconnected, researchers naturally started wondering, could creatine also help fight osteoporosis and bone density loss? To figure this out, we can look at a really robust 12-month clinical trial led by Dr. Darren Kando, studying older males. And the results here are fascinating. When comparing the creatine group and the placebo group over a full year, both groups experienced similar positive changes in bone mineral density. Now, the group taking creatine did show a slight trend toward better bone bending strength, but there was absolutely no statistically significant advantage for overall bone density compared to the placebo. The placebo group saw identical improvements. Why? Because resistance training itself, the mechanical strain of lifting heavy things, was the actual driver of the bone health improvements. So the absolutely crucial point to remember here is this. Exercise is the real medicine. There are no magic...
And you'll have to thank me for that picture of me there. That's actually me right there. Get in there. You've got the see-through legs. You can see everything except the stuff you want to see. That's disgusting. Cut it out, Neil.
While creatine strongly amplifies your muscle growth when you work out, it doesn't offer some massive independent shortcut for bone density. Creatine requires that mechanical stimulus to be effective for your muscles, and when it comes to your bones, the physical act of lifting weights is doing the vast majority of the heavy lifting. Pun intended. All right, part 4, safety and side effects. Is this undeniably safe? Look, if we're going to talk about an intervention for a more vulnerable aging demographic, we absolutely have to know it's safe, period. But when we compile the clinical findings from these long-term studies on older adults, a very reassuring picture emerges. Across the board, adverse events are extremely limited, and they're classified as mild. In studies lasting up to a full year, liver function stayed right in normal ranges. Renal or kidney clearance also remained totally normal, which, by the way, is a super common worry people have about creatine, but the data simply doesn't back up that fear for healthy adults. Ultimately, patient tolerance is highly accepted over the long haul. The clinical data strongly supports that low-dose daily creatine is a remarkably safe strategy for healthy aging. Which leads us nicely to part 5, the verdict for aging, and our evidence-based summary. We've looked at the biology, the muscle data, the bone reality, and the safety profiles. So how do we actually synthesize all of this into something you can use today? Well, here is the simple, evidence-based summary for older adults. Step 1, establish a structured resistance training routine first. As we saw with the bone data, the exercise is the non-negotiable foundation of this whole thing. Step 2, once you're consistently putting in that physical work, consider adding 3 to 5 grams of daily creatine monohydrate to your routine. This is your synergistic catalyst. As the data proved, it can yield significantly greater improvements in lean mass and strength than just exercise alone. And step 3, track your functional strength over time. Are you walking a little faster? Is it easier to get out of that deep armchair? That is your real scorecard.
Yeah, if you're taking supplements, just about any supplement that's designed to make you feel better, but you're not getting some exercise on top of it, it should be part of a combination of things. You should be doing some amount of exercise. I don't know if you're I'm 66, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of squats with weights, but I'll definitely be doing some exercise. And I have been feeling better and more capable of getting up and going out and getting 10,000 steps, and it doesn't kick my butt. A month or so ago, it was like, boy, if I got 10,000 steps, I was out for the day. But I'm better at it. I'm tracking I've got one of those little pedometer watches. Again, I show you which one it is. I bought it for absolutely nothing. And but because of brand names and stuff, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do that. Yeah, it's good to have that kind of stuff to track it. It gives you confidence, or it makes you feel better. It's like, oh wow, look, this week I did 3,000 steps that day. I did 5,000 steps this day. I did 10,000 the other day. I did, and I don't mean walking back and forth to the bar. Well, I guess that counts.
Is that age-related decline isn't entirely inevitable. We actually have scientifically validated tools to fight back. We know resistance training works, and we now know without a doubt that creatine is a safe, effective way to amplify the results of that hard work. So based on the evidence you've seen in today's explainer, how will your approach to aging and exercise change? Something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me. Keep learning, keep moving, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, any of these things that you take, look at him just sitting there. He's like nesting in my hand while I'm trying to get work done for you guys. I've got my hands on all kinds of buttons and dib dugs and willy wangs, and what does he want to do? He wants to sleep on my hand. Look at that. Right? Anyway, you shouldn't just say, well, if I take this thing, now I'll be healthier. No, it should be a combination of getting up and getting some exercise. It doesn't have to be simple stuff like I think I showed a diagram there, like just chair exercises that can do wonders for you, and walking. I mean, unless you live in a terrible climate, you should be able to go walking in the evening, in the morning, or whenever, especially when you're retired. Just get up, get some good shoes, and go out. Here in Maui, where I live, the problem is, especially the summertime, like it is now, the sun is intense. So, I mean, you can go to the mailbox and get sunburned. So, it's something else. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. And like I said, if I can find out, maybe I'll give you a sample of what creatine to take. Maybe I'll do a little research and what's better, what's not better. And I don't know about name brands, so I can talk about them without an approval or something. I don't know if that works that way. So anyway, aloha, and we'll see you on the next one, because I got a bunch lined up.
Golden sun upon the sea, golden sun is over me. Ukulele